Hey, what's up, everyone? Jacob here from jacobteacher.com. I hope you're doing well. I'm back with another writing workshop for you. For those of you who are new here, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in these writing workshops, I look at English that was written by English language learners and I correct the writing. I offer my own feedback. I try to teach all of you how to improve your writing in English. Okay, so I have another paragraph here that I'm going to look at this week. This was written by someone who responded to a survey that I sent out probably almost a month ago now. All right, let's get started. I'm just going to switch screens here. Now, just like last week, I'm going to read the entire paragraph first. Afterwards, I'll offer my corrections, okay? Here we go. Honestly, in all moments, I feel afraid to express my mind using English when meet someone from another countries. I want to communicate intense with them, but I'm afraid if I say something wrong. So my English tend to be passive. Even I really can speak fluently. So please help me how to maintain myself can speak English well. All right, so I understand the question perfectly and I will answer it, but first let me offer some corrections, some feedback. Okay, here we go. So I'll begin honestly, and it would be nice to have, it would be nice to spell the word correctly first, but it would be nice to have a comma here. Honestly. Now the next thing I want to say, in almost moments, it seems like what you want to use here is an adverb of frequency, and I'm actually going to switch screens quickly to show you a visualization of adverbs of frequency that was created by a different online teacher. So this is from the Fluency MC, and it's by far in my opinion, the best visualization of adverbs of frequency. I think it's a really cool way to kind of think about all of this. And as you can see, right next to always is almost always. And I think that's what you are trying to say here. You're trying to say, honestly, I almost always feel afraid to express. Now, express my mind sounds a little bit awkward. More often in English, we just say express myself. So honestly, I almost always feel afraid to express myself. Using English is okay, but express myself in English would be better, in my humble opinion. I almost always feel afraid to express myself in English when meeting someone from another country. I want to communicate. Intense, I'm going to change intense. I'm going to use the adverb deeply. I want to communicate deeply. Now, I used deep here on purpose. You often hear conversations or communication being described as deep. That is one common way to describe a conversation. We had a deep conversation about politics yesterday. We had a deep conversation about religion, love, and so on. Conversations can be deep. They're often described that way, and I think that's what you are talking about here. I want to communicate deeply with other people. You used them. I'm assuming that you're referring just to people in general from other countries, but we want to be specific here in our writing. So we could say, I want to communicate deeply with other people. You could also switch that up. You could say, I want to communicate deeply with people from other countries. Or if you wanted, I want to communicate deeply with native English speakers. You could say whatever you want here, but the important thing is to be specific. So I want to communicate deeply, let's go with other people, but I'm afraid that I'll say something wrong. I want to communicate deeply with other people, comma, but I'm afraid that I'll say something wrong. I'm afraid that I will say something wrong, that it will happen. You could also say, you could play around with a modal verb. I'm afraid that I might say something wrong. Let's leave it with, I'm afraid that I will say something wrong. So my English tend to be passive. I've got a great phrasal verb that I want to teach you right now that I think would be perfect for this situation. When you say my English tend to be passive, what I think you're trying to say is that you kind of hesitate in those situations. You hold back. So I tend to hold back. And we'll continue the sentence in a second, but hold back means when you don't do something, usually because you're afraid. So when you don't do something, often out of fear. In this case, you want to say more, you want to communicate naturally and deeply, but you hold back. You don't feel confident. So I tend to hold back. Now I'm going to also combine these two sentences together. So what I think you're trying to say when you say, even I really want can speak English fluently, what I think you're trying to say is even though. So I tend to hold back even though I really want to speak fluently. You could also say freely. You could say a number of different things. Let's leave it at fluently, because that's what you wrote. Okay? So please help me how to maintain myself can speak English well. So this person is asking me for advice. They're asking me for feedback. Now, here's one tip. When you're asking someone for something in English, when you're requesting something, a polite way to do it is to start with either could or would. Would. Let's go with would. Would you please... Now here's what you could say, and you could end this paragraph nicely with this. Would you please give me some advice? If you wanted to, you could end the paragraph like that. Would you please give me some advice? Let's keep it going, because you used this word maintain. You're talking about maintaining yourself. And I want to teach you all an advanced phrase here that you could use. So would you please give me some advice about how to maintain my composure in these situations? Question mark. To maintain one's composure means to stay calm, to remain in control. So if I maintain my composure, I'm calm. I'm in control of the situation. If I lose my composure, the opposite is true. Maybe I'm angry, I'm out of control, I'm irritated, whatever. I lose control. That's losing composure, and maintaining or keeping one's composure too, we could say. So again, if you wanted to, you could say something like this. Would you please give me some advice about how to maintain my composure in these situations? Would you please give me some advice? Works well too. Okay? All right, so that is how I would rephrase this entire paragraph. I'm going to go back right now and read it from the beginning one more time, all the way through. Honestly, I almost always feel afraid to express myself in English when meeting someone from another country. I want to communicate deeply with other people, but I'm afraid that I will say something wrong. So I tend to hold back, even though I really want to speak fluently. Would you please give me some advice about how to maintain my composure in these situations? Again, I say this in all of the writing workshops that I do, but this is just one way to rephrase this paragraph. This is how I would say it. Other native speakers would surely say it differently. There are an infinite number of ways that you could rephrase this. All right? Now, let's talk about this question. Let's talk about what this person is asking. So, yes, I will give you some advice. First of all, you're not alone. This is a very common problem that many other people have. Many people struggle from a lack of confidence when it comes to using English, especially around native English speakers. But really, you have to be practicing with other people. You have to continue to speak, even if it feels scary, even if you feel like you're going to make mistakes and potentially embarrass yourself. You have to keep doing it day after day after day. That's the only way you're going to improve. Now, I want to mention one thing that will also probably help with this. If you're someone who suffers from a lack of confidence when it comes to speaking or writing or whatever, using English in general, I have a 5-day workshop that I'll run in about 2 weeks' time. The workshop will be completely free. I'm going to give away a lot of free stuff. It's going to be really awesome. I haven't sent out the invitations yet, but I will do that shortly. And in this workshop, we're going to talk about specifically speaking and writing and how to improve your speaking and your writing skills. We're also going to talk a lot about confidence. There will be a whole day devoted to the topic of confidence. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. As I said, I will be sending out invitations for that shortly, and again, it's entirely free. Okay, so I hope that answers this question. I hope that all of you found this writing workshop valuable. If you didn't understand anything or you have any more questions for me, leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a nice big thumbs up. And that's about all I have to say for today. So thank you all so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.